It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to Thursday Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 20th day of July, 2023. Coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia. It looks like we're going to have another pretty typical summer day today. Got a couple errands to run after the show, and then I'm planning on spending the afternoon out at the pool. So, not a whole lot in the way of news today. We do have a story on the Carnival Pride Engine Issues. We had a crewman injured on the Celebrity Infinity. Of course, we got a weather update. And the Adora Magic City, that's that new ship, first ship ever built in China, is on her sea trials. 9-day sea trials, as a matter of fact. So they're going to put her through her paces, it sounds like to me. Speaking of ships from China, today is National Fortune Cookie Day. I'll eat a fortune cookie when I'm having Chinese food. So I guess that means that we have to go eat Chinese food tonight. Well, I have no problem with that either. I do enjoy Chinese food. I'll have some General Tso's chicken. It's my typical favorite meal. So, if you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net. Or wherever you get your podcasts from, all the big hitters, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Stitcher, any of those guys. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. Anytime you're listening to the podcast and want to hop over to the video feed, you can always do that. You can go to the description of the podcast, and there'll be a link to access the video feed. All you gotta do is click on it and you'll jump over to check out any pictures, clips, interviews, whatever I might be using on that day's show. All right, a couple things to get to this morning before we get to the news. This is from our buddy Kevin of 30 and a Wake Up. He was in Kristiansand, Norway. I just thought that was just an absolutely stunning picture. And then my buddy Nate up in Alaska was up at Michelle Phillips' Tagish Lake Kennels yesterday to play with the puppies. And that's something that I will be doing in, let's see, what's today? Today's the 20th. The 20th, about 6 weeks. 5 weeks. I'll be up there playing with the puppies. So I'm looking forward to that. So that was just a couple things in the inbox this morning. Good morning to Steve, Mike, Nikki, Hot Air Tom, Cindy. Good morning to all you guys. All right, the top story today has to deal with the Carnival Pride and some issues. So the Carnival Pride was out on a 13-day cruise or something like that. Guests expected to embark on Carnival Pride's 21st sailing. That would be tomorrow. And they've been told that in all probability, their trip is canceled. Or maybe short. We don't know which. Now, how somebody that's going to meet the ship tomorrow going to know what to do with that kind of information? So basically what happened, the problems began with the Carnival Pride on Tuesday when the ship that was sailing on a 12-day sailing out of Dover, all right, it just came to a stop out in the middle of the ocean, dead. So they sat around treaded water for a while. Yeah, they worked on it, I'm sure. spent several hours just sitting out there in the ocean. And it would be eventually revealed that it was propulsion issues. And then later on, that the propulsion issues would impact their travel speed so much that it would necessitate the ship skipping the stop in Gothenburg, Sweden. That would have been yesterday. And as time moved on with more surveying the situation and trying to fix it, it became apparent that the problem would impact the current sailing and maybe the next. Instead of returning to Dover, now you got all these passengers that got on in Dover, right? Well, the ship went to Germany so they could work on a boat. Now, it hasn't been clear what they did with all the passengers. Maybe they're sitting at the dry dock on the boat, just living life up to the, like usual. I don't know. Meantime, the guests that are scheduled for tomorrow were informed that the cruise would be canceled, or at least shortened. Duh, what does that mean? Book guests received a letter saying that Carnival was working to make the repair and get the ship back to Dover as quickly as possible. However, they've made the difficult decision to cancel the 9-day cruise that was scheduled to depart from Dover tomorrow. But the letter went on to state that depending on how quickly the repairs could be made, we may be able to operate a revised itinerary with a shorter cruise that will end in Dover on the original debarkation day of July the 30th. If this becomes possible, those who opt to sail will receive a prorated refund of your original cruise fare and an unspecified onboard credit. That's what I call good, definite handling a problem. Those wishing to cancel who had not yet left Europe could receive a full refund and 100% future cruise credit, without Carnival also paying any associated airline cancellation fees. Well, I would hope that would be the case. Those who have already arrived in Europe but wish to return home would be reimbursed for up to 2 nights in a hotel and a food per diem, and any airline charges associated with the trip home. Now, that's the whole story, folks. So, what about the people that are supposed to be there tomorrow? What about the people that have to travel to Dover? So now they're saying, don't come, but maybe we'll call you in a couple days and you have to come then. Well, that's not very encouraging. What a mess. Just cancel the damn cruise out, Carnival. Give the people their money back, book them on another cruise or something, but don't leave them dangling. That's terrible PR, at least in my opinion. All right, guys. Interested in any kind of a mobility device, whether it's a wheel power chair or a scooter or a regular wheelchair or a walker or any mobility device for Disability Pride Month. That's all the way till the 31st of July. Site-wide, you get 9% off. Doesn't matter what it is, 9% off through July 31st. All you have to do is checkout time, you use the code REC2023, and you'll have 9% deducted from your bill. That's the Disability Pride Month sale, runs through July 31st. You can shop online or call 1-844-664-7467. Again, use the code REC2023. You might also use SRN 11137, so the channel here gets a little credit for that. All right. Unfortunate incident occurred on Celebrity Infinity. As reported by the Greek news outlet Mono News, yesterday, the Central Port Authority of Corfu received information from the maritime agent of the cruise ship Celebrity Infinity, currently docked at the port of Corfu, regarding an injury sustained by a 48-year-old crew member specializing as a refrigerant assistant. The crew member was reportedly injured while conducting maintenance work on a refrigerant equipment when he accidentally injured a finger on his right hand. That's probably stated rather nicely. The safety protocols were immediately activated and the crew member received prompt attention and care. He was quickly transferred to a private clinic to receive the necessary medical treatment. At the time of the incident, the Celebrity Infinity was on a 7-night Greek and Croatia voyage that started on the 15th from Piraeus. That's Athens, of course. Following the necessary medical intervention, the cruise ship proceeded on with its scheduled itinerary. As per the reports, the authorities have initiated a preliminary investigation into the incident led by the relevant port authority. However, the nationality and identity of the injured crew member was not disclosed in that report. In light of this unfortunate event, thoughts of the entire crew community are with the injured crew member and his loved ones. The well-being and safety of the crew members are of utmost importance, and cruise lines such as Celebrity take comprehensive measures to ensure the well-being and security of their staff. So my thoughts go with this gentleman too. I have a feeling it was a little more serious than just a little cut on his finger. So, all right, I'll be right back with a couple more stories after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. All right, we got to look at the weather. Dawn is still out there, now moving west-northwest. If you followed this along closely, this is what they've been calling for. But at 9 o'clock GMT, the center of Tropical Storm Dawn was located about 805 miles west-southwest of the Azores, moving toward the west-northwest at 7. And this general motion should continue an increase in forward speed during the next couple of days. Dawn is expected to turn northward over the weekend. That will kind of complete a circle. Maximum sustained winds are about 50 with higher gusts. Slight strengthening is expected during today and possibly tomorrow, followed by a little change of strength on Saturday. Currently, tropical storm force winds extend outward about 70 miles from the center. Pressure is 1,002 millibars. All right, the next is the second one, the little yellow X, in a more traditional location in the eastern tropical Atlantic. A tropical wave located a few hundred miles south of the Cabo Verde Islands is currently interacting with the intertropical convergence zone. The combination of these features is producing a broad area of showers and thunderstorms over the eastern and central tropical Atlantic, while dry air to the north may prevent significant organization during the next few days. Environmental conditions could become more conducive for some development by the weekend as the wave moves westward across the central tropical Atlantic. they're calling basically for nothing for 48 hours, but up to 20% for the next 7 days. So this is, of course, in a more traditional tract than Dawn. So we'll have to watch it and see how much it strengthens. There's a good possibility that this could get sheared off and fall apart, tomorrow. But we'll have to watch. All right, next is out in the Pacific. We still got stuff going all over the place. In the Central East Pacific Basin, satellite imagery indicates that an area of low pressure located several hundred miles southwest of the southern tip of Baja California continues to show signs of organization. Environmental conditions appear to be somewhat conducive for further development of the system during the next day or so, and a short-lived tropical depression could form while it moves west-northwestern at about 15 over the central portion of the eastern Pacific Basin. By Saturday, further development is not expected as the system moves over cooler waters and encounter stronger upper-level winds, but they're calling for 60% chance of further formation in the next 48 hours and another 60% during the next 7 days. And that brings us up to Tropical Storm Calvin, who has passed by Hawaii now and is weakened considerably. But it did bring high surf and heavy rain gusts to parts of Hawaii's Big Island yesterday, only inflicting minor damage. By late morning, the storm had passed to the west, and the National Weather Service called off the tropical storm warning. So she's gone away to the tropical storm in the sky, whatever. I'm glad it didn't bring any more significant damage to Hawaii. There was a little local flooding in some areas that mainly just made a muddy mess, but it wasn't anything significantly bad. So that's a good thing. And finally, this morning, we've talked about this ship a couple times because it's the first Chinese-built ship, but Adora Cruises' new build for the Chinese market has embarked on a set of sea trials set to take 9 days. That's long for sea trials. The Adora Magic City will now be put through the paces before returning to the outfitting dock in Shanghai, where work will continue to finish the Vista-class ship, which is due to enter service later this year from Shanghai. A second set of sea trials is scheduled for August, according to the Chinese news media. Adora Cruises is a joint venture between China's Shipbuilding Corporation and Carnival Corporation, and I was hoping, folks, to get some clips of this ship on its sea trials. Apparently, the Chinese aren't real big about promoting stuff. You'd think Carnival would be, though. But literally, there was nothing. A few pictures, but nothing of the ship actually out on the sea trials. So, all right, that's going to wrap up the news portion today. Let's go see who's fussing at me in the chat room. I spoke to the first 5 or 6 people in the chat room. Steve, by the way, Steve, I have restocked the bar like I promised you yesterday with Elijah Craig. So I will be able to take care of Jason. I wonder if Grant started drinking yet. No, he's not old enough to drink. He's going to college. That'll be interesting. I need to ask him what I need to have here for the kids. I know what Jason mixes his bourbon with. Anyway, so Steve, I did send some money to Kentucky for you. And Mike and Nikki and Hot Air Tom and Cindy, who I all spoke to earlier. Dennis is here. Meraviglia. 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 Yeah, I got it. Meraviglia. Meraviglia. When did I say that? That had to be from yesterday. I didn't use Meraviglia on today's show, did I? Oh, maybe I did. I don't know. I'm always confused. Let's see. Nikki said had to cancel the transatlantic for next spring. My doctor doesn't want me out in the middle of the ocean in case of emergency. No helicoptering off and no burial at sea. Damn. That's what I keep telling them. Let me croak on a boat. Just throw me overboard. I have no problem with feeding the fishes at all. I'd love for them to be able to do that. Sorry you had to cancel the cruise, though, Nikki. Joanne is with us. Hi, Joanne. Hope your air condition has all been sorted out, Tom. How was breakfast at the hotel? I tell you, it's not a bad breakfast for hotel food. Everyone that I've stayed in, the two ladies down in Orangeburg, South Carolina, there's two ladies in there who are old enough to call me Sonny. Does that give you a hint? Now, of course, I've gotten to know them as I've been in there. I've stayed at that hotel probably a dozen times, maybe. But they make biscuits and gravy. It's not the canned stuff that you do find in some of the other hotels. They make real honest to God biscuits and real honest to God gravy, sausage gravy. And it is just killer. They also have scrambled eggs and sausage. And of course, there's some sweets and cereal and all the usual stuff. But their biscuits and gravy is out of this world. So I hope Hot Air Tom's Holiday Inn Expresses were as good. And Cindy says, stay closer at home, cruise, not do the TAs. Sometimes doctors are a little funky on that. Sonny's with us. Hi, Sonny. Sonny says, Nikki, cruise, close, cruise often. Yeah, I agree. Skip breakfast today, just a cup of orange juice. AC is working nicely now. We checked out and returned home this morning. Very good, Hot Air. Glad to hear that. We moved the booking to the Caribbean in February. Hope this goes through. Hot Air's got the right suggestion. Find a new doctor. That's probably what I would have done. Hey, doc. Yeah, that's dead. I go find another doctor. Yeah, no, I let, especially my oncologist. My oncologists and my personal doctors, they can pretty much tell me anything and I'll follow whatever they say. Not so much with the pulmonologist. He just drives me ding dong crazy. Nikki says, I'm going to visit with the doctor about this. Too bad he is the only specialist in town with my ailment. Yeah, well, that sucks. I run into problems like that in Lynchburg all the time. Of course, the nice thing is if I don't have somebody here that I really like, which I haven't really liked most of my doctors. I got UVA, it's just an hour and a half away. And they got some of the finest in the world. So yeah. Gretchen's here. Hi, Gretchen. Where to in February, she asks. She says, good morning to everybody. We're on Enchanted Princess, February 6th. I'm looking forward to seeing the Enchanted Princess. There's Elizabeth. Greeting Chillie and the gang from another hot and sunny day in Cozumel. Everyone is talking about how this hurricane season is going to get crazy in a couple of months. Watch this space. Yes. Cindy says, I know hurricane season gets scarier every year. I can't believe I'm talking about it every day this early. And that's just a bit bizarre, I think. But, from now until probably November, this will be a going function every day with multiple storm fronts. And all of them are going to affect cruises in some way. That's the reason I do it. Anyway, yeah, that's they're saying this could be a really bad year. We'll see. Gretchen says Viking Mars, Fort Lauderdale to Panama Canal and back leaves February 3rd, trying to use future cruise vouchers from earlier cancellations, pandemic cancellations. Well, that's be a nice. Viking Mars is a nice ship too. I look forward to all of you guys posting lots of pictures I can use. Always post on Messenger, especially video clips. I got a couple people I've got to get in the habit of posting video clips on Messenger so I can steal them and use them. I can't steal them off of Facebook. It won't let me. I can get almost anything off of YouTube now, but I have to get permission to do that, but I can get anything from YouTube, but I can't from Facebook and Instagram. They're pretty tough. Gretchen says, nice trip. Yeah, I agree. Booked Westminster Abbey yesterday. Oh, sweet. Yesterday with Pete on Meira. Yesterday with Pete was Meira. Oh, not Meira. Okay. Yesterday with Pete, I was totally disgruntled with. I was getting bombarded with 15 things yesterday and not thinking. My bad, Dennis. You're correct. I remember. I knew that. I knew I said it wrong as soon as I said it. And I couldn't go back and correct myself. The hotel did give me a 10,000 point refund due to a room issue. Wow. Our TV was not working well and had a banner box that blocked finding a channel. A banner box that blocked finding a channel. They finally checked the TV on Tuesday and moved us. Okay. Dennis says, when I was a young lad during our Disney World holidays, there was a restaurant in Orlando, Skeeter's Big Biscuits, with excellent biscuits and sausage gravy. Cindy, is Skeeter's Big Biscuits still in Orlando? You're in the Orlando area. Or any of you other guys that might be in the Orlando area, is that still there? Because if they're really good, when am I going in there? Orlando, that's out of Port Canaveral. That'll be for my December 2nd cruise, so I'll be in there on the 1st probably. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to stay in Orlando or go on over to Port Canaveral and stay. Probably where the majority of the people on the cruise are going to stay. I'll follow them. Anyway, Hot Air concluded they moved us to the room next door. The desk agent told me this morning that the DirecTV box was bad and did not have the HDMI output working. Someone added RCA red, white, and blue cables to make it work. Wow. Sort of work. Fantastic, Dennis says. And he says, no worries to my slaughtering Meraviglia. So my niece was laughing at me last night. We went out for sushi, okay? And I was reading your Dennis sends me some sometimes really lengthy lessons on my Italian pronunciation. And I was sitting here at dinner talking to myself, trying to get the R's rolling. And Amanda's laughing at me. What the hell are you doing? I said, I'm practicing. I said, I got to wait for the sushi to get here, so I'm working on my Italian. So I do appreciate this, and I use every bit of the information that you send me to. One of these days, I'll say something right for a change. Anyway, that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. I don't have anything to do other than run a couple of errands and go get in a pool. So I kind of like that. So I got a nice quiet couple days. My sister and brother-in-law went away for a few days. Cindy says, never heard of skeeters. Dennis says that was in the 1980s. I'm learning Italian on Duolingo. Love it. Oh, okay. I haven't heard of Duolingo. Tom, they need to get good rabbit ears. Sonny, some of these guys are too young to remember what rabbit ears are. When you and I, of course, remember that. But some of these, well, I don't know. Hot Air Tom might remember rabbit ears. And he's a good bit younger than I am. So, anyway. All right, guys. That's going to wrap it up for today. Please slam that thumbs up button for me. I'd appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. As of this morning, about an hour ago, I think it was 5 short of the 4,000 mark. I thought I might hit it during the night last night. So we'll hit it today. So I'll celebrate the 4,000 subscribers today sometime. At any rate, folks, as always, thanks for being with me. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising, and one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.